Who supplies Melbourne SRL? The complete vendor map and the local manufacturing story. The Suburban Rail Loop East supply chain is the most locally concentrated major rail supply chain in Australian history. Let me explain what I mean by that, because it changes the analysis completely compared to every other project we have covered on this channel. Riyadh, Dublin, Istanbul, Penang. In every one of those projects, the dominant supply chain question is, which international company wins? In Melbourne, the dominant question is, what percentage of the supply chain stays in Victoria? The Victorian government has embedded local industry participation requirements throughout SRL's procurement framework. The Linewide contract explicitly references local manufacturing. The Dandenong Metropolis factory is not incidental. It is a policy outcome. 8 minutes, every major supply category. And the one system where Australia's existing metropolitan rail expertise creates a capability that the international market cannot easily replicate. The SRL procurement framework is built around the Victorian government's Buy Victorian policy and the National Rail Manufacturing Plan. These are not soft commitments. They are evaluated criteria in every major SRL contract. What this means in practice, the winning bidders on each SRL package are expected to demonstrate local industry participation, Victorian and Australian manufacturing, engineering, and professional services content. The Linewide Alliance's Dandenong commitment is the clearest expression of this. 13 Metropolis trains assembled in Melbourne. First time in Australian rail manufacturing history, creating a pipeline of local skills, boilermakers, electricians, systems integrators that will sustain the Dandenong facility well beyond the initial 13 train order. For international suppliers positioning for SRL North and beyond, the pathway is clear. Establish Australian manufacturing or assembly presence. Partner with Victorian engineering firms. Demonstrate local content from day one of your bid. System 1. TBM supply and tunneling, up to 10 TBMs for SRL East. Melbourne's geology, basalt over mudstone and sandstone, was extensively characterized through the Metro Tunnel project. Both tunnel alliances bring Metro Tunnel experience. TBM suppliers. Herrenknecht is the expected primary supplier. They supplied the Metro Tunnel project TBMs and have deep familiarity with Melbourne's basalt geology. Their geological data from previous Melbourne drives is commercially valuable. Craig is a potential alternative on cost grounds. Concrete lining segments. The volume requirement for 26 kilometers of twin tunnels is approximately 130,000 lining segments. This is a large local manufacturing opportunity, heavy precast concrete. Weight and transport logistics favor local supply. Victorian precast concrete manufacturers, including FDT, Fitzgerald Drill and Blast Tunneling, and Reinforced Earth, have potential to supply this category. Waterproofing membranes, Sika and BASF, both with Australian operations. Grout and shotcrete additives, same suppliers. Rail fastenings for tunnels. Pandrol Australia, locally established. TBM maintenance. Both tunnel alliances will require ongoing TBM maintenance, component supply, and consumables throughout the drive period. Australian mining and tunneling supply companies, Atlas Copco Australia, Sandvik Australia, are the primary candidates. System 2, rolling stock, Alstom Metropolis, 13 4-car sets, GOA4, built Dandenong. The Dandenong factory supply chain is now forming. What does a Metropolis train contain that could be locally sourced? Passenger seating and interiors, Australian furniture and fit-out manufacturers, interior panels, flooring, handrails, categories where Australian manufacturing quality is competitive, electrical harnesses and cable assemblies, precision electronics manufacturing. There are Australian firms in Victoria's defence and aerospace supply chain with relevant capability, HVAC and climate control. Melbourne's temperate climate requires different specifications from Gulf or tropical metro systems. Local Australian HVAC manufacturers with rail references have an advantage here. Bogies, traction systems, and propulsion. These are high technology categories where Alstom's European supply chain will dominate initially. The technology transfer pathway, potentially bringing bogie assembly to Australia over time, is a longer-term opportunity. System 3, signalling. Alstom Orbital, Forward, CBTC. The next generation platform. Wayside equipment installation throughout 26 kilometers of tunnels and 6 stations. Alstom's local team will lead, but installation subcontracting, cable installation, and systems integration roles are open to local electrical and systems contractors. System 4. Station construction, 6 deep underground stations. Award 2026. 3 bidders shortlisted for 2 station contracts, North and South packages. John Holland, Lend-Lease Construction, and CPB Contractors. All are Australian headquartered or have major Australian operations. All have Melbourne Metro station references. Metro Tunnel, City Loop upgrades, existing station works. Station fit-out supply chain, architectural finishes, wayfinding, lighting, escalators, elevators, and the public domain works above each station box. Predominantly Australian commercial construction supply chain. System 5, electrification, 25 kilovolts AC overhead catenary within tunnels and its surface sections. Consistent with Metro Tunnel project standard, the tunnel catenary installation is within the Linewide Alliance scope. Electrification designed by KBR, installation by the Alliance. Australian electrical contractors in subcontracting roles. System 6, platform screen doors, 6 stations. Full height PSD for GOA4 driverless. Part of Linewide scope. Nabtesco, Favely Wabtec, and Manusa are the global PSD specialists. Australian installation and commissioning subcontractors. System 7, tunnel ventilation and fire. 26 kilometers of twin tunnels. Longitudinal mechanical ventilation for emergency smoke management. Howden Australia, Systemair and Nuair are the tunnel ventilation specialists with Australian operations. Fire suppression, Johnson Controls Australia, Honeywell Australia, both with local presence and rail references from Metro Tunnel. System 8, operations, RATP Dev and John Holland. 15-year operating agreement from 2035. Melbourne's first driverless metro operated by Paris's Metro Authority. This is not a paper assignment. RATP Dev operates GOA4 systems on Paris Line 14, REN, and multiple international deployments. The operational knowledge transfer to Melbourne rail workers and engineers is itself a supply chain opportunity. System 9, train stabling and OCC at Heatherton, under procurement. The Operational Control Center, the brain of the GOA4 driverless system, plus stabling for 13 Metropolis sets plus maintenance facility. BuildCorp, Multiplex, and Hansen Juncken are the Australian contractors likely to compete for this. System 10, communications, CCTV, passenger information, telecommunications throughout tunnels and stations. Within Linewide scope, KBR and WSP provide engineering, installation, Australian ICT and communications contractors. Milestone, Dicker Data, and NEC Australia are established in Victorian government infrastructure. System 11, professional services, WSP and KBR within the Linewide Alliance. AECOM, Jacobs, Mott MacDonald, GHD, and Oricon, all with strong Victorian infrastructure practices. In construction supervision and advisory roles, GHD is the owner's engineer for the tunneling program. Orecon and AECOM have SRL design references. SRL North, the 34-kilometer Box Hill to Melbourne Airport section, is the next major wave of procurement. Design is underway now. The procurement timeline, Civil Package Tender 2027 to 2028. Linewide Alliance Tender, separate competition, expected 2027. For the SRL North Linewide, this is an open competition. Alstom holds the SRL East incumbent position and the Dandenong factory. But SRL North is a new contract. Alstom's advantages: trained workforce, established supply chain, operational integration with SRL East. Potential challengers: Siemens Mobility, Tratum Tatersi with Inspiro Goa 4 references globally. Hitachi Rail, Celtrac CBTC with APAC Metro references. CAF, growing Australian market presence. CRRC, cost competitive, but no Australian manufacturing base yet. The SRL North rolling stock procurement will be one of the most watched rail contracts in the Asia-Pacific region over the next 3 to 5 years. The manufacturer who establishes local manufacturing first, before the tender, is in the strongest position. I promised you the one system where Australia's existing metropolitan rail expertise creates an advantage the international market cannot replicate. It is train maintenance. Melbourne's train maintenance workforce, built over more than a century of metropolitan rail operation, is one of the most experienced in the Asia-Pacific region. Hitachi's high-capacity metro trains, Alstom's Metropolis and Comeng fleets, the Siemens Nexus trains, all maintained by experienced Melbourne rail technicians. The FlexCare Perform maintenance contract that Alstom holds for SRL East covers 15 years. But it is not just an Alstom contract. It is an Alstom-led program that will employ and develop hundreds of Melbourne rail maintenance technicians at the Heatherton facility. That workforce, trained on GOA4 automated metro systems, familiar with Metropolis platform, experienced in high-frequency Melbourne operating conditions, is a capability that does not exist anywhere else in Australia. When SRL North requires a maintenance workforce from 2043, the people who built that capability on SRL East will be the foundation. For Australian technical training institutions, TAFE providers, and engineering schools in Melbourne's southeast, the SRL East Maintenance Program is a decade-long curriculum development opportunity. 1. bigbuild.vic.gov.au and suburbanrailloop.vic.gov.au. All SRL procurement is published here. 2. Station contract awards are expected in 2026. If you are in underground station construction or fit-out, the shortlisted bidder teams are assembling their supply chains now. 3. Alstom Dandenong supply chain. If you are an Australian manufacturer with interior, electrical, or precision manufacturing capability, the conversation is happening now. 4. Subscribe to Rail Compass and tell me, SRL North rolling stock, Alstom from Dandenong, or a challenger? Drop your prediction in the comments. Melbourne Suburban Rail Loop. TBMs in the ground in 2026. Australia's largest infrastructure project is well and truly underway.